The first time I saw the thing wearing my father's face, it was smiling at me from the foot of my bed at 3 in the morning, and it had too many teeth. I live alone in the old farmhouse outside Black Hollow, Virginia, the one Dad left me when the cancer finally took him last winter. 47 acres of tired cornfields and darker woods, a sagging barn, and a house built in 1892 that creaks like it remembers every sin ever committed under its roof. I moved back after the funeral because the city rent was killing me and because I thought the quiet might patch the hole his dying left in my chest. Quiet turned out to be the wrong word. That night in March, the wind was howling hard enough to rattle the window panes. I woke up needing water and found the bedroom lit by moonlight so bright it looked like noon under snow. He stood there in his favorite red flannel shirt, the one we buried him in, hands hanging loose at his sides. His eyes were wrong, too wide, too black, like someone had scooped out the pupils and left the sockets open to whatever lived behind them. And the smile. Dad never smiled that wide when he was alive. Not once. "Ellie Bug," he said, voice soft as ever loving, the nickname he'd used since I was 5. "Come give your old man a hug." I couldn't move. My throat locked up. My heart slammed against my ribs like it wanted out of my skin. The thing took one step closer, and the floorboards didn't make a sound under its boots. That was the first clue it wasn't really him. "This house announces every footfall like a gossip." "Dad," I managed to croak. It tilted its head, still grinning, and I saw the teeth again, small and sharp and too many, crowded like kernels on a dried-up cob. Then it leaned forward, slow, and whispered, "I've missed you so bad, baby girl," and the smell hit me, wet earth and funeral lilies left too long in the vase. I screamed. I don't remember lunging for the lamp or throwing the quilt or scrambling backward into the headboard, but the details are gone. All I know is the light snapped on and the room was empty except for me shaking so hard my teeth chattered. The door was still shut. The windows were still latched from the inside. Nothing. No footprints on the frost outside the glass, no muddy tracks across the pine floor. Dad and I refinished the summer I turned 16. I didn't sleep again that night. I sat up with every light in the house burning, shotgun across my lap, telling myself it was a grief hallucination, that I was losing my mind the way Mom did before she drove into the river when I was 12. By sunrise I almost believed it. Almost. Because when I finally crept downstairs to make coffee, I found the kitchen door standing wide open and a single red flannel shirt folded neat on the table. The one we buried him in. Still damp with graveyard dirt. I burned it in the barrel out back and told nobody. People in Black Hollow don't talk much about the hollow part of the name. They'll tell you about the Civil War skirmish nobody won, or the iron mine that flooded in 1927 and drowned 30 men, or how the soil here grows the sweetest corn in the valley if you plant by the dark of the moon. What they won't tell you, not straight, is why every porch has a horseshoe nailed above the door and why nobody walks the woods after dusk, not even during hunting season. I learned the hard way. After the bedroom visit I started seeing him everywhere, glimpses at the edge of sight. In the reflection of the kitchen window while I washed dishes. Sitting on the tractor I hadn't started since October. Standing at the tree line when I fed the chickens, waving like he used to when he wanted me to come in for supper. Always smiling that corn kernel smile. I tried everything normal people try when the dead won't stay dead. I called Father Tom at St. Agnes in town. He came out, splashed holy water, muttered in Latin, told me grief does strange things to a mind. He left me a bottle of water and a pamphlet about bereavement counseling. That night the thing sat in the rocking chair in the corner and rocked without moving its feet, watching me until the sun came up. I drove to Richmond and paid a woman with too many cats and a storefront full of crystals $400 to cleanse the house. She burned sage until we both coughed, drew sigils and salt on every sill, told me the energy felt sticky, but not dangerous. She cashed my check and never answered when I called again. I even tried talking to it. Sat at the kitchen table one midnight with a bottle of Dad's wild turkey and said, "If that's really you, tell me something only you would know." It stood behind me, I could feel it more than saw, and laid a hand on my shoulder. The fingers were freezing, like meat pulled straight from the deep freeze. It leaned down and whispered, "You still sleep with that raggedy bear I won you at the state fair in '89. Which was true. Mr. Jingles sits on the dresser to this day, one eye missing, stuffing leaking out his neck. But the voice wasn't quite right. Too smooth, too hungry. That was the night I started sleeping with the shotgun under the bed and a kitchen knife under my pillow. April brought dogwood blossoms and softer air, but no peace. The thing got bolder. It left presents. A mason jar full of teeth on the porch step, human teeth, some gold-capped, some still pink at the root. A dead crow nailed to the barn door with a rusted railroad spike through its heart. Once I found my own high school yearbook open on the table to the page with my senior picture, eyes scratched out with something sharp. I stopped going into town except for absolute necessities. The cashier at the Food Lion started giving me worried looks. Old Mrs. Hager at the post office asked if I was sick. I looked so pale. I lied and said flu. Truth was I hadn't slept more than 20 minutes at a stretch in weeks. My hands shook when I poured coffee. I kept hearing footsteps on the stairs when I was downstairs, footsteps in the kitchen when I was up. Always pacing, always waiting. One warm night toward the end of the month I woke to find it lying beside me in the bed. Not hovering, not standing, lying on Dad's side of the mattress the way he did for 30 years with Mom and then alone after she died, one arm crooked under the pillow, the other reaching toward me. The flannel shirt was gone. It was naked, gray skin stretched tight over bones, belly sunken like it hadn't eaten since the coffin lid closed. The moon lit it up clear as day. I could see the Y incision from the autopsy, black thread holding the chest together like sloppy sewing. It turned its head, slow, and the neck bones clicked. Cold in the ground, Ellie bug, it rasped. Let me warm up. I don't remember getting out of bed. Next thing I knew I was in the yard in my nightgown, barefoot on the frost, screaming at the dark house with the shotgun pointed at my own bedroom window. The recoil bruised my shoulder twice before the neighbor's dogs started barking and I came back to myself. The window was empty. Of course it was. I drove to the Motel 6 on the highway and paid cash for a week. Checked in at 2 a.m., showered until the water ran cold, and slept 12 hours with the television on loud. When I woke up the late news was talking about a missing teenager from the high school, Jenny Carlisle, cheerleader, honor roll, last seen walking home from play practice. Her picture looked just like me at 17. Same dark hair, same freckles across the nose. I checked out the next morning and went home. You can't run from something that wears your father's face. May crawled in, humid and green. The corn I never planted shot up anyway, thick as a jungle, stalks twice as tall as me by Memorial Day. Nobody in Black Hollow plants that early. Nobody's corn grows that fast. I stopped answering the phone. I stopped checking the mail. I started drinking the wild turkey straight from the bottle and talking back to the thing when it appeared. You're not him, I'd say. It would smile wider. I'm what's left. What do you want? Want you to stop being so lonely. I'm not lonely. I'm terrified. Same difference. Some nights it brought friends. I'd wake to find shapes crouched around the bed, pale things with jointed wrong limbs and eyes like wet coal. They never spoke. They just watched, breathing through their mouths, until I screamed them away. Or until the thing in Dad's skin told them shoo, the way you'd chase crows off a scarecrow. I lost weight. My jeans hung off me. My hair started falling out in clumps. I looked like Mom the winter before she drowned herself. I thought about following her into the river more than once. Thought about eating the shotgun barrel. Only thing that stopped me was knowing the thing would be waiting on the other side, still smiling. June brought the solstice and the worst night of all. I'd passed out on the couch sometime afternoon, bottle in one hand, Dad's old service revolver in the other. Woke up to thunder and rain lashing the windows. The power was out. The house smelled like turned earth again, stronger than ever. I heard singing coming from upstairs, Dad's voice, low and sweet, the hymn he used to hum while milking cows. I climbed the stairs slow, revolver heavy in my hand. Every step groaned under my weight. The singing got louder. When I reached the landing I saw candlelight flickering from under my bedroom door, dozens of candles, more light than I owned in the whole house. I pushed the door open. The room was full of people. Not people, things wearing people. 20, 30 of them, crowded shoulder to shoulder, all facing the bed. They wore clothes from every era, overalls and Sunday dresses and Letterman jackets and uniforms, some rotting, some new. Their faces were wrong the way the thing's face was wrong, stretched and hungry. And on the bed sat my father, or what wore him, legs crossed, hands open on its knees. Naked again. The autopsy stitches had split. Something black and wormy wriggled inside the chest cavity. Every head turned when I stepped in. Every mouth opened in that same too-wide grin. There she is, the thing said in Dad's voice. Told you she'd come. I raised the revolver. My hand didn't shake. I'd gone past fear into somewhere colder. Get out of my house. It stood. The others swayed like corn in wind. We're family, Ellie Bug. All of us. Black Hollow keeps its own. One of the things shuffled forward. I recognized the face, what was left of it, Jenny Carlisle. Her cheerleader uniform hung in tatters. Her eyes were gone, just hollow sockets leaking dirt. She walked the woods alone, the dad thing said. Same as your mama did. Same as you will. I pulled the trigger. The bullet punched through its chest and out the back in a spray of black fluid that hissed when it hit the floorboards. The thing looked down, surprised, then up at me and laughed Dad's laugh, the one he saved for when I did something spectacularly stupid as a kid. Gonna take more than that, baby girl. They moved all at once. I fired until the cylinder clicked empty. Bullets tore holes that closed like water. Hands grabbed me, cold and strong, dragging me toward the bed. I kicked, bit, clawed. My shirt ripped. Fingernails raked my arms. Something, licked the blood off my skin with a tongue like wet leather. The dad thing caught my face between its palms. Up close I could see the skin shifting, like there were things crawling under it trying to get out. Shish now, it crooned. Won't hurt long. Then you'll never be alone again. Its mouth opened wider, until the jaw unhinged with a soft pop. Inside was only darkness and the smell of deep graves. I felt my feet leave the floor as it pulled me in. That's when the last thing I remember clearly. They say I was found 3 days later wandering the county road barefoot and naked, covered in dirt and blood that wasn't all mine. I don't remember the in-between. I woke up in the psych ward at MCV with tubes in my arms and a nurse telling me I was lucky to be alive after what I'd been through. They found the house burned to the foundation. Arson, the fire marshal said. Accelerant everywhere, like someone doused the place and lit a match. They found bones in the ashes, dozens of them, some old, some fresh. The medical examiner couldn't explain how they got there. Or why every skull was grinning. Jenny Carlisle's body was never recovered. I've been out 6 months now. I live in a 1-bedroom in Richmond with triple locks and a string of bells on every door. I see a therapist twice a week who thinks I had a psychotic break after cumulative trauma. I let her think it. Some nights I still wake up tasting graveyard dirt. Some nights the bells ring soft, like someone's brushing past them on their way down the hall. And sometimes, when the moon is new and the city sleeps, I hear footsteps on the fire escape. Slow, patient, coming closer. I keep Dad's revolver on the nightstand, reloaded. And I wait for the knock that sounds just like home.